The next battle that I did, the one that I lost on, was entirely my fault. I'm still pretty convinced that I maybe could have done that. I could have won. Alright, so these are some Nintendo Wii stories. No one story is too long to have its own video, but I can share a bunch of small ones with you. And I think the best place to start would probably be around the launch of the system and how I got my own system. You may have heard it a little bit in the PS3 launch story, which was far more interesting than this one, but I actually had it pretty easy with the Wii launch because I was able to get a pre-order. In fact, the very example of me getting my Wii pre-order was why I didn't get a PS3 pre-order, because the PS3 came out November 17th, 2006. The Wii came out 2 days after, and I remember at the time that was exactly how GameStop's pre-orders went as well, where the GameStop pre-orders for PS3 were first, and then Wii second, and they were mere days apart. So I missed the PS3 pre-orders. I couldn't secure a system on launch day. But because of that mistake, I was able to figure out when Wii pre-orders were going to be. At the time, I was still in school, but I said, you know what? I might as well get one out of two of these systems. So I was able to skip school that day. Well, I wasn't able to, I just willingly did it. I skipped school that day, and I went to my nearest GameStop very early in the morning, maybe around 7 a.m. or so. And I waited for about 2 hours. I was actually number 2 in line, and sure enough, easy peasy, got my receipt that said I am guaranteed a Wii on launch day, and I got my Wii on launch day. And thank God I did, because the system, of course, was in very high demand. Shortly after launch, the number one thing I think I did the most was play Excite Truck. And what I liked a lot about the Wii, which is something the PlayStation 3 even wasn't doing, and the Xbox 360 also had this, which is what I enjoyed about it, and I did the same thing on the Wii, was you could put an SD card in the system, and you could actually use custom soundtracks. And so Excite Truck actually supported this. And, you know, I'm a young kid, I'm listening to this terrible pop music, playing Excite Truck, and I'm like doing these crazy launches in Excite Truck, right? And I'm listening to fucking Black Eyed Peas or something ridiculous like that. And I was just having a real good time. That was like one of my peak points. Another game that was really fun was WarioWare Smooth Moves. And there's a story for this one because, well, WarioWare was those are just always fun games, right? Because they're a bunch of ridiculous mini games and they're always so absurd. It's totally my kind of humor. I really enjoy that stuff. And so Smooth Moves is no different, right? It's really fun. And it's fun to play with more people. One time I brought the game to somebody else's house, so it wasn't my Wii. And there was like a mini game later on that I thought was really funny, right? So I was like, oh guys, we got to get to this one level because we're starting a new profile on this guy's Wii. And so I was like, here. Let me play through the game. I'll go through it really quick because I know all the mini games, and I'll get to the funny one. And I remember this was a situation where I was being a total asshole, basically. So I was just sitting there playing the game while my friends were waiting on the couch, and they ended up getting mad at me because I was just going through the game and still displaying a good time I was having. And they were like, "Can we play?" And I was like, "No, you don't know the game. I'm gonna go through it, and I can get us to the final." So that was like, I know that that was like such a bad thing to do. Like that was the wrong thing to do, right? I was a dick. I'll take that one. Another thing that was really fun, and it was honestly, I think to this day I can still say it was the best summer of my life, and my friend can attest to this. But with the Virtual Console on Wii, we downloaded Mario Kart 64. From my other video, you will know I love Mario Kart a lot more than maybe a lot of you guys didn't realize. I thoroughly enjoy Mario Kart. And so one summer, when Mario Kart 64, I forget when that came out on the Virtual Console, but we had, Wii's, we had the game downloaded. And for one summer, that was all we did every single day. We did not miss a day. We hung out, we played Mario Kart, and we just kept score all the time. It was the same friend, by the way, as my friend Terrell. I've known him for, like 16, 17 years now. I've known him for a very long time. He's my closest friend. And that's all we did was play Mario Kart 64 on Wii every single day. And we never got tired of it. And I could honestly say that was like probably one of the best summers of my life. So one other time was my local GameStop was holding a tournament for Pokemon Battle Revolution, which was like the latest Pokemon game, and it was like a stadium. If you don't know, it's like a Coliseum game, like a stadium game. It doesn't have a story like Coliseum, but it was like Stadium where it was just straight battles, right? And it had DS connectivity, so you could connect Diamond, Pearl, and you could play up to Gen 4 on the TV with, you know, more detail, like an actual animated out battle and stuff like that. Really fun game. And so GameStop had a tournament where you could bring in your DS and we would all Pokemon battle, right? And the person that won would get a copy of the game. And, you know, I also, if you guys know, I love Pokemon. More than Mario Kart, mind you. So I definitely had a team prepared. I had a plan outlined. We were doing double battles, so I knew I thought I was confident. I was like, there's a very real possibility I could win this. And I had won my first 2 or 3 battles. I don't remember entirely. There wasn't that many people. It wasn't a crazy turnout. So I thought, oh, you know, I might be able to get this, right? But I don't remember if I won 2 or 3 battles, but I won my first few battles right away. The next battle that I did, the one that I lost on, was entirely my fault. I'm still pretty convinced that I maybe could have done that. Like, I could have won. And, like, gone on to, like, because I stuck around to, like, watch the final match, and I saw the guy's Pokemon. I was like, oh, man, I could have had this. But the battle I lost was my fault. We were doing double battles, and one strategy I had was to send out a Ghost type and an Electrode. And the Ghost type I think I had at the time that I was maining for this double battle was Gengar. And so I would use an Electrode with Choice Band, which means the first move I use gets double damage, but it's the only move I use. And the Ghost type, and I think you see where this is going, I was going to use Explosion on the Electrode. So the Electrode Explosion would do double damage, and it wouldn't affect Gengar. So that's like what I did, right? But what I didn't realize when I chose Explosion on this Electrode was that my Ghost wasn't out. And I think at the time, I think he might have had a Rock type on the other side, but I still didn't care because I was like, it's still going to do pretty reasonable damage because I totally screwed myself. So I think the opposing Rock Pokemon made, I don't remember the teams that much, obviously. I'm trying to remember off memory here. And then whatever I had on the other side, I don't remember, that fainted. Then my Electrode, of course, goes down. I think the battles were 4 Pokemon max that they had it set to, just to keep the, you know, battles get the battles over with and whatnot. But basically, I kind of threw it down the drain because if I had set it up, I think properly, I more than likely would have won. Because I also remember who I was against was quite an inexperienced Pokemon player, so that was a total bummer. Anyway, those are some of the Nintendo Wii stories that I wanted to share with you all. Those are the ones that at least stick out the most to me. I didn't really play the Wii that much, admittedly, throughout its entire life cycle, and I think a lot of people can agree that maybe is what happened to them over time, slowly, when the system's problems really got highlighted by like the lack of third party and things like that. But the first party still always shined on that platform. And but those are my stories. And please, if you have any Nintendo Wii stories, please let me know. I actually naturally wanted to say Switch there for a second. But if you have any stories, please let me know. I'd love to read them. Thank you all for watching this video, and I'll see you all in my next one. Take it easy.